The bamboo answered first. Before the old woman in a village outside Gongju spoke, the night wind knocked the stalks together, and the dogs went quiet. Then she touched her sleeve to the lamp, and said the village boundary was never empty, where the Jangseung stood. I walked the South Chungcheong road in late autumn, when the paddies had been cut short, and the earth smelled of wet straw. Smoke from pine kindling drifted low over the roofs. At every fork, the fields opened, and a pair of tall carved posts watched the road. Beyond Buyeo, the land rose gently toward burial hills and chestnut groves. Frost held in the shaded ditches until noon. I heard the knock of a mill from far off, and the thin cry of crows. Villagers said the guardians felt strongest when the first hard cold entered the wood. In one valley they called them Jangseung. In another, Bupsong or Susalmok. Some elders spoke of Sotdae standing nearby, with bird figures above, sky markers beside the road guardians. Jangseung carried the sense of long posts set upright, named and planted, where settlement ended and the unclaimed ground began. Their faces differed from province to province. Some bore a broad grin, with teeth cut deep. Some had bulging eyes and a beard like split roots. Male and female pairs were common. The names Chenha Dai Jangan and Jiha Yo Jangan were often carved upon them. Heaven General and Earth General. The clearest witness I heard came from the winter of 1894 in a hamlet near Nonsan. A tenant farmer named Han Sok-jin returned after dark with a bundle of beanstalks on his back. Snow had sealed the cart ruts. His straw sandals squawked with each step. He passed between the two boundary totems and smelled fresh sap, though both posts were old and cracked. Han raised his head and saw wetness on one carved lip. Shining in moonlight, he thought first of Thor. Then he heard a low wooden groan, as if the grain itself shifted. At home he said nothing through supper. His wife later told me his spoon trembled against the bowl, ticking like an insect on pottery. Near midnight he rose, opened the paper door, and stood barefoot in the yard. He said someone outside was calling his childhood name from the road. By dawn he had walked back to the boundary, and found one post marked with 5 finger streaks in the frost, high above his reach. After that night, he slept only in short bursts. His wife said he feared crossing any village edge after sundown. He died with that fear still in him. The signs came first in small things. The dogs did not bark. They tucked their tails and faced the gate. Oxen balked before the boundary stones. A traveller might smell damp earth from a dry road, or hear tapping from wood when there was no hand near it. Some said the carved eyes changed with the weather. In full daylight, they seemed dull, grey. Almost comic. At dusk, the shadows sank into the sockets until the gaze sharpened. Rain made the mouths look soft. Snow collected in the cut letters and gave the faces a patient, grave expression. No one in those villages leaned a ladder against a Jangseung after sunset. No one spoke curses toward it. Children were pulled away from games that circled the posts. If a hat or basket was dropped at the boundary after dark, it waited until morning. Hands did not reach back. Offerings were plain. Millet, a cup of cloudy rice liquor, twisted rope, a strip of white cloth. I was told never to laugh at the face while placing them down. A laugh carried badly near the posts. The cedar smoke from nearby kitchens seemed to stop there and hang without moving. In Gangwon, near mountain roads where snow came early, I heard that Jangseung guarded against tiger paths and wandering dead alike. Those were cut taller and narrower, with severe noses and long chins. Their watch belongs to forest thresholds, where pines creaked and ravens stepped around old graves. On Jeju, the stories bent towards stone guardians more than wood, yet old men still compared them to inland Jangseung. The island wind ate timber too quickly. There the boundary face was broader, rougher, shaped by salt. The watch remained the same, though the material changed under different skies. In Jeolla, several women told me the female totem mattered most during epidemics. White paper strips were tied nearby and washed by rain into pulp. One man in the next county denied this entirely and insisted the male guardian bore the heavier charge. Villages kept their own order and defended it. The oldest written mention I could trace lay in later Joseon references to village tutelary posts, though the custom ran older in the mouths of elders. One temple reader in Yesan guided me to notes comparing boundary guardians with older protective poles raised in communal rites for roads, fields, and disease. I also found echoes in the Sambuk Yusa, not naming Jangseung directly, yet preserving the older habit of sacred markers, local tutelary beings, and charged places where road and settlement met. The monk who kept the volume turned the pages carefully. Dust rose in the lamplight and smelled faintly bitter. After many rounds, I learned the villagers did not speak of Jangseung as if speaking of simple carvings. They spoke the way farmers speak of river bends and burial mounds, useful things, dangerous places, familiar presences. The boundary felt colder beside those posts, even on windless evenings. I carried away one thought from Chungcheong. A village could pour fear, gratitude, and memory into a standing piece of wood, until the grain seemed to listen back. I have heard many names on the road, but few held the night as firmly as Jangseung. What name do you not speak after dark?